The Philippines had taken down powerful China in 2016 when the Permanent Court of Arbitration decided the contested islands in the West Philippine Sea rightfully belonged to the country. But, how did that ruling that rejected China's historical claim to the area turn out? What changes had the ruling caused so far? Was the victory, at least in the International Court's jurisdiction, proved to be beneficial for the Philippines? Or is the legal victory in the West Philippine Sea proven to be pointless? Welcome to the 6th episode of Wow, But How? In July 2016, the Philippines has cemented the legality of its claim over the islands inside its exclusive economic zone on the West Philippine Sea. The ruling from the International Tribunal in The Hague stated that the Chinese territorial claims as encompassed in its 9-line has no basis. But the Chinese presence and display of power has only gotten stronger as the years go by. In this episode, we will take a closer look on the details of the 2016 International Arbitration Court ruling on the West Philippine Sea and see if it is indeed a legal victory that eventually became pointless. In 1953, China released a map sketching the scope of its territory with a 9-line. It asserted that everything that falls into these dashes on the map belongs to China. Looking at the map, it is easy to see that what China wants is the entire South China Sea. This is something the neighboring countries of Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and the Philippines have resisted as it clearly encroached their exclusive economic zones. The tension started to rise when Chinese vessels have started appearing on the areas and blocked access of Filipino fishing vessels. On the affidavits submitted for the tribunal, accounts by Filipino fishermen have supported their contention that they have been fishing in the same areas as their forefathers did. That's until the Chinese incursions have started. Put side by side with China, the Philippines is a small, helpless country. In 2013, the Philippines has a David versus Goliath moment when it submitted an appeal to the Permanent Court of Arbitrations challenging the claims laid by its powerful neighbor. The Philippines has filed 15 parties' position to the International Court of Arbitration. According to Robert Williams, executive director of Paul Tsai China Center at Yale University, the claims from the Philippines can fall into 4 categories. This includes challenging the 9-line, determination of land and other geographic features in the Spratlys, China's interference on the fishing activity of the Filipinos in the country's exclusive economic zone, and the illegal land reclamation and construction of artificial islands in the Spratlys. Challenging the 9-line. In the petition, the Philippines has pushed that the historical claim of China's 9-line has no jurisdiction over Scarborough Shoal located within the 200 nautical miles of its exclusive economic zone. Based on the decision of the Court of Arbitration, the passing of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea has rendered China's historic claim invalid. This means, China can never claim any territory falling under the 9-line.
When you sign UNCLOS and nag-ratify sila, nag-ratify tayo, you agree to limit your maritime zone to what is stated in UNCLOS. Ang sabi ng tribunal, niwala ang basis yung 9-line. There is no historical basis. Walang legal basis. So wala talaga, inimbento lang.
Determination of land and other geographic features in the Spratlys. According to UNCLOS, an island has a territorial scope of 200 nautical miles called its exclusive economic zone. It also has 12 nautical miles of territorial sea. The Philippines doesn't have sole sovereignty over the exclusive economic zone, but it holds sovereign rights for the natural resources found in the area. Rocks holds no EEZ but has territorial sea. The low-tide elevations like Banks holds no EEZ and territorial sea. It only means that China cannot take ownership of the islands and other features inside the 200 nautical miles EEZ of the Philippines.
We have the right to exploit the natural resources of those submerged areas
in the
Spratlys, and also we have the sole right to put up structures there, or artificial islands.
Okay.
And that's exactly what the tribunal said. In Mischief Reef, since it's a low tide elevation, it's part of the submerged continental shelf of the Philippines, it's only the Philippines that can put up a structure or island there.
China's interference on the fishing activity of the Filipinos in the country's exclusive economic zone. Because the historical claims under the 9-line was found to have no basis, China doesn't have sovereignty over the EZZ of the Philippines. It is also downright illegal that China blocks or totally prohibits fishing activities of the Filipinos in the area. The claim of the Philippines was backed by the tribunal's ruling. It simply means China holds no right to fish or explore natural resources in areas belonging to the Philippine jurisdiction.
Para sa atin lang, we own the fish there. Kinukuha ng China, ng mga Chinese fishermen, binibenta sa atin. Binibili natin yung isda na dapat atin from the very start. 40% ng energy requirement ng Luzon galing sa Malampaya. Malampaya gas. Mauubos na yung gas in 2 to 3 years. Dapat ma-develop na natin yung reed bank para replacement.
The illegal land reclamation and construction of artificial islands in the Spratlys. Given that China has no right over the territory, the reclamation of land and the construction of artificial islands and facilities are also illegal. The Court of Arbitration recognized that China's reclamation activities have contributed to the destruction of natural resources in the area. So, will the Philippines just succumb to this dispute against its powerful neighbor? It is clear that China has no legal right over territories that fall under their 9-dash line. The Philippines should have the sole privilege to explore and use the resources inside its EEZ, but it is the opposite of what's happening. Why?
China is a bully. It is a rogue state. So ito lang, isang bansa lang hindi nagko-comply, China lang. Pero bakit mag-comply ang China? Sabi ni President Duterte, I will set aside the ruling.
Pwede ba tayong pumunta doon? Papasok tayo sa mga Spratly Island yun, ng barko natin na para ipakita lang natin sa top Pilipino na baski ng ilang balik natin doon, wala talagang mangyari because we are not in the possession of the sea. There is no way that we can get back the tawag nilang Philippine Sea without any bloodshed.
Experts believe there are 3 possible ways for the Philippines to succeed in the territorial dispute without the need for a war. First is to have a strong political will, second is to get involved in multilateral agreements with other countries, and third is to submit a petition to the unclosed tribunal. Winning the territories back will start with the government's strong and clear stand that the West Philippine Sea belongs to the Philippines.
The Constitution, the President is the chief architect of foreign policy. Kontrolado niya yung Department of Foreign Affairs. Appointed niya, alter ego niya yung Secretary of Foreign Affairs. So pag ayaw niya, hindi talaga ma-assert ang ruling. Ganyan katindi yan. If the President does not like it, walang mangyari.
Because of the asymmetry in the military power between China and the Philippines, multilateral agreements with other countries is essential.
There's this UP Marine Scientist Professor, si Deo Onda. I'm sure he has, narinig nyo na, he's been advocating na ang Philippines mag-convene ng mga claimant countries at mag-declare ng marine protected area. Alam mo, ang ganda nun kasi kung united yung claimant countries at sabihin ito, fishing ground, marine protected area, stronger versus China.
The Philippines also has the option to file a petition in unclosed tribunal.
Pag i-insist ng mga Chinese, dalayin ulit natin sila sa unclosed tribunal na itong mga napakadaming mga Chinese fishing vessels sa West Philippine Sea, inuubos nilang isda. I-quantify natin how many thousands of tons every year kinukuha nila. And then, we will ask China to pay damages. Ang importante dito, that the entire Filipino people will be on the same page. So, dapat, we have only one position. Hindi natin pamimigay ang West Philippine Sea sa China. Atin yan. May ruling na tayo. Hindi pwede pamimigay.
Hindi lang mangyari sa atin. Hindi na lang tuwiran na sinabing mamatay na lang kayo ng gutom, mamatay kayo ng dilat. Pero kung mananahimik at hindi nalalaban, talo na. Wala na. Tapos na ang Tapos na ang laban.
If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like or share button. Feel free to subscribe so I can continue making videos like this one. Thank you. And I cannot wait to see you again soon for the next episode of Wow, but How?